Hey guys, Helen Hart Smith here again from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel. Hope you're having a good day. I wanted to do a little haul video for two reasons. One, I wanted to share with you some things that I picked up yesterday because my friend Lee and I went, we call it adventuring. We go find places and shop things and bring them home. So that's the first reason. The second reason is the roomie was not home yesterday. She was spending some time with her sister, some well-deserved time with her sister, so she couldn't go adventuring with us, and she just got home. So I'm gonna have to go through all of this anyhow to show her the things that I purchased. So I thought, well, if I'm gonna show her, I might as well do it so that I can show y'all at the same time. How does that sound? So I should say that I'm not making this video to brag. I just thought I would share with you some things that I have found and maybe give you some pointers. I've been purchasing stones recently for grid work, and I've talked about it here on the channel. And so I've actually gotten a fairly decent handle on like some things to look for reasonably priced rocks and such. And so as we're chatting, perhaps I can impart some of that, you know, information onto you. And there may or may not be something here for the roomie, so it's beneficial for her to stick around. Ooh, oh. And she may or may not say something as this goes on. So where should we start? Do you care? Do you have an opinion?
My stuff.
No, we're not doing yours first.
Well, why we ask?
Goodness. Okay, so Lee and I went to a couple of places yesterday, kind of on the western side of the state and such. So I don't even remember exactly where everything came from. So I'm just going to kind of go in order. So there's a lot of rocks here and a couple of books and such. So let's see what we got. So the first thing that I picked up is this really cool, and I hope that the design is coming in. This is a slab of, I believe, it wasn't marked, but I believe that it is hematite and red jasper. And so this was beautiful. This was a slab. You can tell obviously that it's rough around these edges, and so it was sliced. And it looks like it was probably cut this way too to accommodate that size. But I think it would look really cool in a setup where you like had it propped up like this and stuff. And I have water here for the unpolished stones to see what they look like. Now, obviously, there are stones out there that you don't want to get wet. Selenite comes to mind first. But okay, so this side is still kind of dry, but look what it looks like when it's wet. Ooh.
Cool.
Isn't that nifty?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And slabs, you can find those for pretty reasonable prices. And I like the idea of slabs because you can use that as maybe a charging pedestal. Hematite is good for drawing negativity. And it's a protection stone. And I don't remember red jasper like right off the top of my head, but I could see like charging something or making an overnight potion using something like that for that purpose. So I dig the thought of slabs, and I'm trying to add more of them into my collection. So we were at this place that sold stones, and it was also a antique store. And so we went into this room, and there were like these whole shelving units that they had all these little bottles, and I was like, are those specimens? What is that? So I go over to look, and they have dirt in them from various places, and I spoke with the guy who owns the antique store, and he said that this was a collection that they purchased. A gentleman would gather soil from his travels, and friends and family would also bring back samples if they went somewhere that he hadn't been. So there was stuff from all around, like every state. And then there was some more exotic things like these here. Well, this one here is volcanic ash from Mount St. Helens. And I was like, well, I have to have that. Helens, Mount St. Yeah. Had to have that. And this one is dirt from Wales. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I actually got another one here, but this is a present for someone for Yule. So I can't share just yet what it is. But the roomie, she can look because she can know now. So whatever. So those were cool, and they were $1 a piece. And they had like, there was soil from Dracula's castle in Transylvania. I almost bought it, but then I was like, wait a minute, you need to be reasonable about this. But I like to collect dirt. I actually saw a blog once where the person collected dirt from their travels, and then they would type out, you know, like the date that they were there and where it was from and stuff like that. So that's actually something that I've started to do in my own travels. So that's kind of cool. Let's see here. Let's do this one. So this, one of the stores that we went to, they had a lot of rough stone. So this is, Amazonite, I think. Oh crap. It's either Amazonite or, no, it's Amazonite. It is. So I wanted to get this because it has these natural little steps, and I thought it would be really cool to be able to put like stones or whatever on the steps for display. Look at you. Because isn't that cool? So the roomie can, and it's raw, so it's got that really neat, you could put something like that in a terrarium setup or something along those lines. And that was like $7 per pound. So, I mean, there are some things that you can, you know, like palm stones, because you could probably make a palm stone out of this, and you can buy palm stones for like anywhere from 10 to 20 or more dollars. And so buying rocks in their raw form can be a cheaper option. And if you're using them for spell work or crystal grid work and stuff like that, it doesn't matter if they're polished or not. So that being said, I feel like I should talk about the little guys that I picked up here. So I picked up, I've been buying rocks kind of in 4s for crystal grid work. So I found, I picked up some raw. I didn't need labradorite, but when you find labradorite for $1 a piece, go away mosquito. When you find labradorite for $1 a piece, especially pieces this large, you really can't walk away from that. Go away mosquito. And Lee is kind of voyaging into the world of lapidary work and tumbling her own stones. So these are things that I could use in that capacity as well. So I got 4, oh no, it wasn't $1 a piece. They were $1.50 a piece. And that's still super cheap because I bought some polished labradorite that were little tiny stones that were $1 a piece. Labradorite can be kind of expensive. I also picked up 4 pieces of emerald, which were $1.50 as well a piece, which is really good. The roomie's being buzzed by a bumbler. Don't piss it off.
It's not a nice bumbler though. It's a mean one.
Well, we're gonna wish it away. Go on now. Go find somewhere else. Nobody's got bright clothing that's, you know, bringing you over here. Go on now. And then I also got 4 pieces of yellow jasper, which is kind of a favorite of mine thanks to my coven sister Michelle. Yellow jasper is a great stone for traveling safely. And one of these, this one right here, look at this little bit that's there. It's like a quartz growing inside it or something. It's so cool. Would you like to hold these? the roomie's like bouncing around behind the scenes. So that's the raw pieces. I also picked up a piece of white agate. I had bought 4 pieces of agate before, and this white agate is good for peace and tranquility, kind of helping with that calmness. And I had given one to a friend's daughter who was about to go off and start a new training program for EMT. So I wanted to pick up a 4th one so that I had 4 again. So I picked that one up. And these agates can be pretty cheap. Agates and jaspers, because they're pretty plentiful. Like I can pick up, not that large, but I can pick up pieces of polished yellow jasper for like 70 cents a piece at my local kind of new age store. And these are like $1.75. So there are some things that, you know, it's good to pick up at new age stores, but sometimes you'll find stuff cheaper at like a rock shop, that doesn't have new age, like a new age bent on things, if that makes sense. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have here rolled up? Oh, this was so pretty. I had to get it. This is peridot. Is that gonna? This is peridot in basalt. So this is a pretty delicate specimen. So this is one that I'm gonna take care of, you know, be delicate with. The pieces of peridot on there are very small and delicate, and the basalt, I meant to look it up before starting this video. I think basalt is a volcanic rock. I'm not entirely sure. So if somebody knows that, then let me know. But I say that because of the holes here in the rock. It reminds me of lava rock. So I'll look that up when I'm done. But if somebody wants to post here, then that would be helpful too. Help me out. So there's I'll wrap that up to keep it delicate. What else do we have here? Just a few more things. This is something that I'm kind of looking forward to exploring more. This is what's known as a Super 7 amethyst. And so we actually have some folks that come to, well, Ann and Todd. Ann and Todd do a lot of their own mining. I think we talked about that in the podcast with them. They were actually in Thunder Bay recently, Thunder Bay, Ontario, and that is where Super 7 is mined. Now, you might say, why, Helen, what is Super 7? So Super 7 is this formation that is only in Thunder Bay, and this isn't like a super prime specimen, but it developed in layers basically. And so there are 7 layers. So there's amethyst, there's quartz, there's smoky quartz, and then there's 4 others that I can't remember. They're like stuff that I hadn't really heard about before doing research on Super 7. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly what Super 7 is, because there's something known as aurolite that is, some folks say that it's the same thing as Super 7. However, it's aurolite 23. And so in order to be considered aurolite 23, there's a 23 there because there's 23 different compounds. And this is where I'm not really understanding. So in order to be considered aurolite, you have to have at least 17 of the 23 compounds. That's why I don't understand. And the Super 7 is only supposed to be found in Thunder Bay, but I've seen some aurolite that came from Brazil too. So if someone knows of like a definitive source, because I've been trying to do some reading online and I'm really confused. So if someone has a really good resource that they can point me to that will kind of help clear up what this is, or a video even, because I've been looking for some videos and I am not quite sure what's going on here. So if you have any info on that, I'd be happy to check that out. All right, let's do the Rumi's present. I hope she likes this, guys. So, we were looking for something to pick up for the Rumi because, as we all know, the Rumi is a muggle. Okay? But she's starting to get into the power of stones. I'm drawing her over to my side of the line, slowly but surely. So I was looking around for something to get her, and I found this. Oh, her face kind of looks like mine right now, so I think she's happy with it.
It's so cute.
So this is a selenite tower. Okay, and I love selenite. I just love selenite. It's like one of my favorite things ever. And so this is carved, so it's got like, I think they look like little ice castles. I think they look like the Fortress of Solitude. And I have a couple of these myself, and I thought she would like this little baby one because she's got some shelves in her room. She collects milk glass. So I thought that it might look pretty on one of her shelves with her milk glass. What do you think, Rumi?
Thank you.
Oh, yay, she liked it.
It's very awesome.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you liked it. So then the final stone that I found was actually at the antique store. And let me tell you what, the specimens there, it was mostly like raw. And they were pricey because they were for the specimen's sake. And that plays into like purchasing stones at a new age store, but these were like bigger pieces that were marked way higher than stuff that you might find at a new age store. And so this is what I decided on. This is a beautiful smoky quartz, and you can tell that down here, this is like the bottom, this is where it was attached to something else, and the rest of these sides are shiny, as in this is the way that it formed. And then of course we've got the connection end here. This is a beautiful dark piece of smoky quartz, and they had numerous pieces, and they were kind of they were pricey. They were climbing up there. And this one was kind of a mid to low range for what they had there. And it just spoke to me. The setup was like these awesome glass doored cases with lights, and everything was well marked and stuff like that, so you knew what the things were, and then you had to call somebody in to kind of open the door, and then you could touch them and feel them. He was talking to me right through that door and was like, I know you want to take me home. And I did. So yeah, I'm digging this. I have another really cool piece of smoky quartz that's, I don't know if it's as dark as this, but it has several little offshoots on it, so it's kind of a cluster. And it's really delicate, especially those little pieces. I had a couple that fell off in transit. And so I tend to not want to take that anywhere, where this one, with it being one piece, I would feel more comfortable taking this somewhere with me. Because oftentimes we do show and tells at our pagan meetup, and a lot of people like to bring their stones and pass them around and stuff. So that's a good piece to do that with. So like I said, that's the stones, and I got a couple of books. So the first book that I picked up is The Witch's Cauldron by Laura Tempest Zakroff. And I've seen Laura. I'm told that she's a Michigan native or lives in Michigan or something like that, and I'm not really sure. I looked in her bio information and there really wasn't much in there about Michigan, but she's been at Convocation. She's a wonderful artist, and so I was intrigued to see what she had to offer as a writer. So this is from Llewellyn, and I've seen Matt Oren talk about this like in his Instagram. This is part of what I believe is like a series for Llewellyn, that there's the Witch's Cauldron, there's the Witch's Mirror, the Witch's Athame, and I think there's like 1 or 2 more. So this book is supposed to give you the history, tradition, and modern uses of whatever tool is being talked about in the book. So obviously this is the Witch's Cauldron. So this is Laura's first book, and she has a book that just came out this year on sigil magic that I've been thinking about purchasing. It looks intriguing. I've flipped through it a couple of times, so I thought that this would be a good book to introduce myself to her writing style, and because I wanted to check out this series too. So I picked that up. And then finally, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen this book. This is the 7 Archetypal Stones. Their spiritual powers and teachings, and this is by Nicholas Pearson. Nicholas is another person that I follow on Instagram, and he's a young man from Connecticut, and did I know him before? I don't remember if we followed each other or not before, but I know him from other circles as well. And I've been wanting to pick up one of his books, and so I finally found one in a local shop, because I like to shop local as much as possible. I know that I always give you guys like Amazon links, and I hope that you try to, try to shop local as much as possible too. But in this book, he talks about obsidian, jade, lapis lazuli, emerald, amethyst, and quartz. So, and diamond, sorry. So those are the 7 stones that are a part of this book. So I'm really interested to check out his writing style as well. He's a pretty nifty looking guy on Instagram. I've never met him in person, but I would certainly love to. Maybe in the future someday. So that's it. That's my little mini haul from you. Well, I don't think that's a mini haul. That's a big ass haul, right, Lil? Or Rumi? So yeah, I hope that this was enjoyable. Yeah, if you own any of these things or have questions about any of these things, feel free to ask. I will go ahead and put links in the description box for the 2 books. And I may even try to remember the 2 rock stores that we went to and see if they have websites. Because if you live in Michigan and want to check them out, you might want to check them out that way. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's going to wrap up this video. Did you have something that you really liked? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I like to have thumbs up. They're kind of fun. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. I mean, come on. All your friends are doing it. You can also contact me at heartofthewitchespath@yahoo.com. And I invite you to follow me on Instagram. The handle there is at heartofthewitchespath. And there's a Facebook page. So there's a link to that in the box below as well. Thanks for watching, and thanks for taking the time to walk the path for a little while with me. Until next time, blessed be.